Hey everyone, it's Jonathan here, founder of Driving Academy, and today I want to talk about different things that we can do as a country to make trucking better for everyone. So the main thing is this: trucking keeps the country alive. They move the food you eat, the clothes you wear, and the medicine you rely on. So why is it so hard to actually do the job right? From training to wasting time to basic human dignity, here are some simple common sense ways America as a whole can make trucking easier for truckers that don't cost any extra money if we actually make these changes happen. So the first thing most truckers actually complain about is going to be how many hoops they have to jump through just to get a CDL license. Now, it's not an easy process to go through, and in some parts of the country it can be super expensive for some people, right? So that's why we've actually tried to simplify the process as much as possible here at Driving Academy to make it, one, super affordable, and two, streamline the process to actually help you get that CDL license that you're after, right? Because at the end of the day, if it is too much money for you and you can't afford it, no matter how bad you actually want to change your life, it's going to be hard for you to actually do it. That's why at Driving Academy, $500 down is all you need to get started, and we can work out an interest-free, that's right, interest-free payment plan for the rest. And when it comes to the actual training, there is going to be a lot of hoops to jump through, and it's very hard to do it on your own, and technically it's illegal. That's why Driving Academy is doing their part to try to make the entire trucking industry a little bit better by putting safer drivers on the road, offering affordable programs, and super flexible because we're open up 7 days a week itself. So now the next thing, once you actually get your CDL license, that a lot of people complain about is going to be the licensing frustrations that actually happen, right? So just because you have your CDL license doesn't mean you're done. So there's going to be some things that you have to keep up to date, which is like the DOT physical, which can get annoying in some cases. Other things is if you ever want to change your license, it might force you to go back to school. So for instance, if you have a CDL Class A license and you want to be able to drive buses, or even more frustrating is, imagine that you take the test in an automatic vehicle, and all of a sudden you have a restriction on your license that you probably didn't even know about. That's right, you can't even drive manual transmission, and that can be super frustrating. So that means you're going to a job, you're trying to get this job, they love you, they're ready to hire you, they look at your license and be like, hey, we got manual transmission vehicles, we can't hire you. And now you're like, oh my God, what did I just do to myself? And to fix all that, you then have to go to another school, get trained again, and take the road test portion again and learn how to shift to make sure things are moving in the right direction. So an easy way to avoid all of that, again, is to make sure that you actually partner up with a company that can actually guide you through every step of the way right from the beginning. So if in the future you do want to be able to drive tractor trailers and buses, it's much easier to do it all in the beginning once you're actually getting your CDL license. For instance, if you want the most availability when it comes to job placement, take the test in a manual transmission vehicle. Again, the cool thing at Driving Academy is we have all the flexibility. As long as you're upfront with what your goals are as a CDL driver itself, then we can actually help you and give you this simple path on how to knock out all the dominoes right from the beginning, so you never have to come back and scratch your head and make things more frustrating for yourself. Our job is to streamline the process and get you on the road to freedom and stop wasting your time and money, so you don't have to go through any unnecessary hoops, and you can actually start making money that you want. All right, so now let's talk about, you got your license, everything's good, you're working. What is the next biggest complaint that a lot of truck drivers have? And it's all about respecting their time. So what do I mean by that? Nothing drives truckers crazier than sitting on dock for hours, unpaid. Airlines have to compensate passengers for delays. Why not apply the same logic for trucking? If a shipper or receiver ties a driver up for hours past the appointment, pay them. It's just that simple. It's their time, their hours of service clock, and their livelihood on the line. Respecting driver's time isn't radical, it's basic fairness. Now this also is super important when it comes to finding the right company that you're going to work for, because some companies actually value your time more than others, which means some companies, especially the bigger ones, will actually pay you extra if you're spending hours and hours waiting for something that's out of your control. And how they do it on the back end is they just charge the shipper or the receiver more money for having you wait longer, and that money that they receive, they'll just pay you. So as you're looking for work out there, make sure you ask this simple question. Hey, if I'm staying on the dock for hours and it's outside of my control, how do you guys compensate me for that? And make sure you get it in writing, and that will check one thing off of your list that annoy a lot of truck drivers, so you don't even have to think about it. All right, so we talked about sitting for hours and hours on the dock itself, but another annoying piece of actually making pickups or deliveries is going to be signage. Now, most people never even think about this stuff, but driving a tractor trailer through tight roads can be pretty difficult. And if there's no signage around there, that means you can make a wrong turn in a warehouse complex or anything like that, and now it's very difficult to back yourself out of there because it's not like we can just make a U-turn or a K-turn in a big tractor trailer. So you'll actually be shocked on how many shippers and receivers don't have any truck entrance signs. It's like a cruel scavenger hunt. Drivers are thinking, hey, is that where I have to enter? Is it a driveway? Is it the alley? Is it that street that looks impossible to turn into? Seriously, how hard is it to put up some signs and say, hey truckers, enter here? And while we're at it, put some turning lane signs further ahead. This is going to give enough notice to the truckers before traffic boxes them out. These are tiny fixes that make a massive difference in safety and in stress. You can't imagine how stressful it can be to park your truck on the other side, walk around an entire huge complex just to figure out where you're supposed to deliver it to. And that's always a much better route than actually trying to do it with your truck because, again, you can't make a U-turn in these things very easily. Now, one of the other big things that you're going to be annoyed about as a truck driver is going to be parking. So every driver has seen and experienced this nightmare before. You've hit your hours of service limit, it's late, and you're circling like a vulture hunting for a spot. You're like, is it there? So how do you fix this thing? Do you have truck drivers just park on the side of any highway? Probably not the safest thing to do, but there's definitely public areas out there that truckers are not allowed to park overnight. So for instance, there's a bunch of way stations along the highway. Overnight, truckers are not allowed to park there. Way stations are closed anyway, so on any closed way stations, it should open up to truck parking as an example. There should also have more truck parking. Also, more towns out there should be able to allow truck parking around there because when there is no truck parking, it makes it very difficult for actual trucks to get from point A to point B in a timely manner. Because now instead of driving the whole 11 hours, you're gonna have to drive like 8 hours, 9 hours, whatever it is, just so you can kind of get some buffer zone to actually get parking in there. And it makes it very, very difficult. So if this country wants to be more efficient on how to deliver things from point A to point B, increase the parking. And it's super simple. So now, finally, let's talk about the basics, right? As a human, there's only 3 things we really need to do, which is eat, sleep, and when we eat and drink a lot, we're gonna have to relieve ourselves. Now, for truck drivers, there's many creative ways on how they've been able to fix this problem, but there's many different things we can do to make this process even better. Right? Too many drivers are still denied access at shipper and receiver locations. Think about it. The people delivering the freight can't use the restroom at any delivery site. That's why there's a bipartisan legislation on the table right now to guarantee restroom access to truck drivers. But there should have been passed a long time ago. Now, truck drivers, you have to do your part too, because there's some bad actors out here that spoil it for the rest of us. Most humans want to be able to help each other out. But if I'm going to give you access to my bathroom, don't dirty it up. Make sure you keep it clean and act like it's somebody else's home because somebody else does work there, right? This isn't a luxury, this is human decency, but it has to work both ways. And if you're nice enough and you don't spoil it for the rest of us, everything else is going to work out from there. So here's the bottom line. These are not complicated demands. We're not talking about high-tech miracles or billion-dollar projects. We're talking about simple schools that can actually get you that license, a streamlined licensing process, fair pay when you get delays, clear signs, safe parking environments, and restroom access, right? All these things are actually common sense fixes that would actually make a big difference and make their trucker's life a lot easier and safer for everyone on the road without costing the taxpayers pretty much any money at all. At Driving Academy, we fight to train safe and skilled drivers every single day. But it's time for America to step up and do its part too. Because making trucking easier isn't just about helping drivers, it's about respecting the people who keep this country alive. So if you are interested in starting your CDL process today, visit our website, cdldrivingacademy.com, find a location near you nationwide, and we're definitely here to help you get yourself on the road to freedom so you can actually have a good and simple trucker life. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. If you want to get your CDL license, you know where to go. Check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com, right over there. And if you like this video, you'll definitely like this video right over here. So make sure you check that out. But before anything else, make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you soon.